Should you buy Assassin's Creed Origins in 2024? Assassin's Creed Origins is over 6 years old now, and I've tried to get into the game many times. I think I've probably started and put the game down 5 or 6 times over the years, and just couldn't get into it for some reason. I decided to finally give it another go, and oh man, I'm glad I did. Assassin's Creed Origins has surprised me with how great it really is and how well the game holds up after 6 years. It takes many of the greatest components of what defines Assassin's Creed, creating a story and world that is interlinked to the origins, pun intended, of the series, and redefining the prowess of what Assassin's Creed can be. We'll be discussing the story and gameplay of Assassin's Creed Origins without any spoilers, of course. Anyway, let's get right into it. This section, of course, will not contain any spoilers for the game, and instead I'll just be giving a quick premise of the game's story and what it's all about. The game focuses on the journey of Bayek, the protagonist, and in a way the struggles of his wife, who is also an assassin, in Aya. Like many games before it in the series, Bayek's mission is inherently one of vengeance, as he travels across the harsh and unforgiving dunes of Egypt in 49 BC. The world of Egypt is stunning as it is beautiful, but it's also harsh for the protagonist Bayek, and he undergoes many trials in order to fulfill his lust for vengeance. Bayek and Aya are determined to find the killers of their son, and their mission is not halted by any outside factors, as they push through the evil of the Order of Ancients, which is a precursor to the Templar Order featured in almost every game in the series. Most importantly, above all else, as it is in the name of the game, the story of Assassin's Creed Origins follows the very origins of the Assassin's Brotherhood we are so accustomed with, referred to in the game as the Hidden Ones, and the old age conflict they retain with the Order of Ancients. Like any other Assassin's Creed game, this game does have a modern day aspect to it as well, introducing a new character into the mix after Desmond's betrayal, known as Layla Hassan, as you get to vicariously live through both Bayek and Aya's memories in some instances. Of course, it is very hard to describe the brunt of this story without any spoilers, but what really stood out to me from the game's story was the valor and characterization of Bayek himself. In most regards, I think Bayek is one of the best protagonists in the entire series. He is a hardened man who has ambition, and he is relentless in his goals, but the various side missions you can do really do bring out his character in full proportion and complement his development in the main story so much. He carries the title of Medjai, or the Protector of Egypt, and you can see this in multiple instances throughout the game, as his relentlessness in his mission may often be thwarted by the compassion and love he wields for the people of Egypt and their problems. Overall, if you want an Assassin's Creed experience with a great protagonist and story, Assassin's Creed Origins will not disappoint in any regard, and I've been enthralled in my entire journey through the game's main plot and its surrounding side quests. The gameplay of Assassin's Creed Origins was the very first foray into the series' RPG mechanics that is now synonymous with the games after the 2 games after Origins also worked to add on and expand on this system. Naturally, level systems, gear systems, and other RPG mechanics are core to Assassin's Creed Origins like they were in those games. As an action RPG, the combat does take a very different approach to the counter-focused combat of prior games, wielding a great focus on parrying in some regards, dodging, and utilizing a mixture of different weapons in order to bring down your enemies. This includes a melee weapon you have, as well as a bow that you wield that will allow you to take down enemies in gratifying fashion. The combat here actually does feel great though, as it doesn't have that weird and wacky abilities of future games, such as Assassin's Creed Odyssey or Assassin's Creed Valhalla, instead retaining a simple system that is only made complex by the different gear combinations and sets that you can create. However, something I really like is the fact that there isn't any armor system within the game that would see you constantly switching between different armor pieces in order to make yourself more durable. Instead, you've got your cosmetic outfits and only really have to change out your shield, melee weapon, and bow out whenever you find something a bit better. I had low expectations of the combat after playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla and Odyssey, but weirdly enough, the combat of Origins might be the best in this entire RPG direction of the series. It feels super fluid as you block attacks, break an enemy's shield, and take them down with glory. It's fun fighting multiple enemies at a time, sometimes needing to use your bow to get an advantage over enemies so you can take them down swiftly. The combat is a lot of fun, and and the simplicity of it makes it easy to get into, but hard to master and truly take advantage of. But once you become accustomed to this style of combat, the absolute flow and fluidity of it all is absolutely amazing. Honestly, if they just expanded on this combat system in future games without wacky abilities and weapons that were so out of the scope of realism, the series might have its greatest combat system yet. The killing animations are also really well done and do well to diversify the combat, especially if you switch from using a sword to a heavier weapon. You're offered a new style of play that comes with its own unique animations to boot. Another thing that really adds to the fun of the combat system in this game is the adrenaline meter that you have with any melee weapon. As you fight through enemies, you'll be charging up this meter, which depending on the type of weapon you have can either make you go into an overpower mode where your attacks do more damage and you are faster, or you can land a powerful blow that is often fatal to the enemies around you, making the combat here even better than it already is. Of course, you do earn ability points throughout the game from constantly leveling up, of which do a lot to upgrade Bayek's arsenal. It's cut up into 3 distinct branches, with one branch focusing on upgrading Bayek's ranged abilities, another to make him a more capable warrior, and one to turn him into a more deadly assassin. Talking about assassins, we of course have to talk about the game's stealth and parkour mechanics. Foremostly, the parkour is a definite downgrade from prior games in the series. This is because it has been dumbed down and made super simplistic to the point where all of the once complex mechanics of parkour within the series has almost completely vanished. Instead replaced by a parkour system that allows you to hold onto anything, jump great distances, and lacks the complexity of prior games in the series. Don't get me wrong, it doesn't take away from the experience very much, especially with how great the combat is, but I feel like despite such a great departure from the series style, they could have just kept the parkour system from prior games, done some tweaking to it to make it a little more accessible and enjoyable without it completely losing its charm. It's not a deal breaker for the gameplay systems within the game, but it's something that is definitely a step back from the parkour of prior games, and the parkour here just doesn't feel as fun or fluid as prior games, lacking things such as proper ejects and the ability to perform stunts possible in prior games such as Unity, especially as the animations of parkour here are very simple. In complete contrast to that, the stealth of this game is actually surprisingly great. You've got a hidden blade pretty early into the game, and the iconic hood of which defines the assassins in the series. There are many instances in the game where you have to take down targets, and many of these instances are designed with stealth specifically in mind. The cities themselves that you explore throughout the game, such as Alexandria and Memphis, are designed with parkour and stealth in mind, and I never found stealth something supplementary to the gameplay like it was in Valhalla. Instead, it was a core part of the experience, like prior entries within the series. I've had a lot of fun with stealth in the game, as the combination of the hidden blade as well as utilizing a bow for stealth diversifies the stealth in the game and makes it super fun. It lacks a lot of the assassin tools of prior games, but it does retain some of them, such as a sleep dart, which always does a lot to make the stealth in these games a lot more fun. The stealth feels necessary in so many instances of the game and retains many of the best elements of the stealth mechanics of prior games. Finally, let's move on to briefly discussing the exploration of the game. Quickly, I have to mention how beautiful the game is. The graphics hold up so well, and everything is fitted with a level of fidelity that is able to hold up in so many ways even today, and I was taken aback at several moments with how gorgeous the game really is. The open world of Assassin's Creed Origins is absolutely gigantic, as you're able to roam around the open world environment of the game on foot, horse, camelback, or even a boat. The world is so vast but is packed with so much detail and quality throughout, which makes exploring Egypt in this time period an absolute blast in almost every aspect. There's of course a bunch of side quests that you'll be able to do as you venture across Egypt, in addition to being able to explore locations such as pyramids, bandit hideouts, tombs, all of which can help you find better loot while truly immersing yourself into the depiction of Egypt that Ubisoft has so wonderfully made. Exploring in this game is so much fun, and I've gotten lost just wandering across Egypt, as the game is packed with so much to do without necessarily having the bloated problem of Valhalla, in which content was made purely for the sake of it. Much of the content within this game, in addition to the main story, feels like it was tailor-made, and the quality of the game is actually superb on all fronts of exploration in the open world. In addition to the prior side activities I mentioned, you can participate in chariot racing and even a gladiator arena, which does even more to make the gameplay and exploration that much more satisfying, as you find all of the secrets and little details that are scattered across Egypt. Overall, every component of the gameplay in Assassin's Creed Origins besides the parkour has been really well made, and as you play through the game, the obvious quality of every aspect of the gameplay mechanics is apparent, making the game an absolute blast to play through. I think the verdict is kind of obvious, but yes, you should absolutely purchase this game even in 2024. It holds up so well after over 6 years after release, and for the sale prices it often goes for, such as only $10, this is a must buy and a must play in every regard, especially if you're looking for a fun and fulfilling open world experience. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, consider dropping a like and subbing to the channel, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.